Sir? Yes, sir. Over here. Do you happen to have these condoms in extra small?
Welcome to the Unapologetic Man podcast, the only podcast that's all about self-improvement, confidence, success, women, and being a man without making any apologies for it.
What is up, you champions? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the UMP. I really do appreciate you. And today, gentlemen, we are going to talk about some exercises that you can do to build what I call your social pressure muscle so that you can go talk to harder girls. I talk about it all the time in my coaching program and about once every 6 months in this podcast to reiterate time and time again how you guys need to be able to build this social pressure muscle in order to talk to harder girls, because if you don't do that, you're going to get what I call screensaver mode. When you go talk to a hot girl, you can't even remember your own last name, your stomach falls out of your butt, you twist your broveries, and you turn into Franken idiot because you can't even talk to this girl. Why is that? It's because you have too much damn adrenaline dumping through your system. Because honestly, you're not used to talking to hot girls. You're not used to being in high pressure social situations. So when you go up to her, you get a flood of adrenaline and you can't think on your feet. If, on the other hand, you have been practicing consistently developing this social pressure muscle, which of course, I'm going to give you tons of exercises to do just that, you could go up to a girl and talk to her like you talk to your own best friend. It's no big deal. She doesn't intimidate you. You have a high level of dopamine going through your head, just like you do when you're bantering with your friends, and you could just think off the cuff. Talk to her like you're talking to an old friend. I'm going to give you guys a huge secret right now. If you guys want to land a really hot girl, I'm talking a solid 9 or a 10, a girl who looks like the last girl who you masturbated to on Pornhub.com with your frequent masturbator platinum card, all you have to do is be normal. As normal as I am talking to you right now. It's no big deal, dude. I do this all the time. I'm talking to you like I talk to my own best friend, like I talk to my brother, like I talk to my mom. What does that communicate to her? It communicates that you're used to talking to hot girls, because what's a hot girl's experience? Her experience is dudes coming up to her, being absolute buffoons, fucking doofuses, fucking slapjacks, canyon mules, mountain trolls, and utter idiots. And she's like, this is the way men are. They can't even hold their water when they're around me because they're so damn intimidated. Then you come up and you're completely normal. It communicates that you're used to having hot girls in your life. And women are always attracted to men who have other women in their lives. This is why women are often attracted to men with wedding rings on their fingers, because it shows that he's pre-selected. He's used to talking to hot girls. He has hot girls in his life already. He's around them all the time. So her hotness isn't intimidating him. So what's the play here? The play is, of course, to build that social pressure muscle. Now, I know a lot of you guys hyperextend your anal chakra because you're so terrified to go talk to hot girls. Instead, what a lot of you guys are, and this cracks me up every time I see it, are podcast jockeys, just listening to podcast after podcast, telling yourself, once I get a little more information, then I'll be ready to go talk to hot girls. I know you guys are terrified to talk to hot girls, so I'm going to give you some exercises where you don't even have to talk to girls. Of course, you should, and I'm going to give you some exercises where that's concerned as well. But here's where you can escape going to talk to hot girls, because some of you guys are so fucking afraid of it. And there's a reason you're afraid. You can go search a podcast I did about a year ago that talks about why we have such approach anxiety. There's a reason, and it's a somewhat justifiable reason. But for some of you dudes who just hide behind the podcast, hide behind YouTube videos, hide behind those Instagram posts, and tell yourself, once I get to this point, once I get enough knowledge, once I'm more shredded, once I'm making more money, once XYZ thing happens, then I'll go talk to hot girls. I got to call you out, bro. It's either now or never, because if you don't do it now, you're not going to do it in the future. Remember, the future is a replica of the present. You are going to do the exact same fucking thing you're doing now unless you take decisive action. And this is one of the purposes of my 3-month coaching program. We get guys to fucking execute, because that's what masculine men do. They pull the trigger, they don't procrastinate, they don't ho-hum, they enact change, because sometimes just to enact change requires an extreme commitment to something new, to something where you're held accountable. And that's exactly what we do in my program. But once again, for those of you guys who are still terrified, and I hear you, bro. I know you're scared. Your Uncle Mark Singh's got your back. For those of you who are still terrified, I'm going to give you some exercises. But these exercises are exactly to conquer that. Your terror, your cowardice, your fear of being embarrassed. We're going to purposely embarrass you. Just like I did in the beginning of this episode, where I'm like, excuse me, sir, do you have these condoms in extra small? And I will do that. I will go to CVS. I will go to Walgreens. I will go to whatever pharmacy that you have in your town, and I will yell at the top of my lungs, excuse me, sir, do you have these condoms in extra small? Why the hell would I do that? Why would I voluntarily embarrass myself? Because it's exactly as I've been talking about. You have to learn to endure social pressure. And the way to do that is to embarrass yourself purposely. Once you learn to endure social embarrassment, when you go up to a hot girl, she's going to put on you that exact same fear of being embarrassed, that exact same screensaver mode that you'll get when you're out there embarrassing yourself on purpose. But since you've been training, you're essentially training the muscle so that her hotness can't affect you as much. Because embarrassment, saying, hey, do you have these condoms in extra small, puts the exact same pressure on you as a woman's hotness. So it's one and the same, man. You doing embarrassing things, you making a fool of yourself, you purposely going out in public and doing shit that makes you scared, that makes you intimidated, that is socially unacceptable, quote unquote, will give you the ability to endure the exact same social pressure as talking to a hot girl. And as I alluded to earlier, if you could just be normal in front of a hot girl, you don't even need game. You don't even need the tactics. You don't even need the funny statements, the stories, all the shit that I teach in this podcast. But of course, more importantly, in my 3-month coaching program, you don't need it, because hot girls are so unaccustomed to guys just being normal around them that if you're normal, it proves to her you're a high value man and she'll get attracted to you. I'll tell you this, boys, the hardest girls to approach are 7s and 8s, because they get approached all the time. Guys feel that they're safe, so they approach them. So actually, 7s and 8s are harder than 9s and 10s, because 9s and 10s, especially 10s, almost never get approached because guys are too scared. There's too much cowardice out there. They're hyperextending their anal chakra. They walk away and they masturbate in a puddle of their own tears. If you go up to her and you're like, no big deal. I've been doing social pressure experiments for the last 2 months. I've been doing stuff that Mark Singh suggested in his podcast. And now when I talk to you, it's no big deal. In fact, you're not even putting the same social pressure on me that I endured yesterday when I did XYZ thing. She's like, holy shit, this guy's an alpha male. He's obviously used to talking to hot girls because he's not intimidated by me. So I'm attracted to him. And that's what we're going to do. That's the whole point of this episode. So we understand that putting social pressure on ourselves purposely, embarrassing ourselves purposely, builds that social pressure muscle, and then we can go up to girls and talk to them without being so stifled. We can talk to them calmly. Our tone is going to be correct. Our delivery is going to be good because we won't have so much adrenaline. Instead, we're going to have dopamine that makes us feel good, and then we can make her laugh, show her we don't give a shit. We talk to hot girls all the time. It's no big deal. Then she gets attracted to us. So let's get into some of the exercises. First of all, the exercise I gave you at the front of this episode, I literally just came up with that in the last few weeks, because anytime a guy joins my program, I always say this. I'm always like, bro, go to Costco, buy the bulk pack of condoms because you're about to need them. So I've always been making that joke. And then the other day I was like, bro, go to Costco, buy the bulk pack of condoms, extra small, of course, because you're going to need them. And the dude I was talking to cracked up, cool ass guy. What's up, Mike, if you're listening? And then I came up with that joke and I went out and I did it at Walgreens. I yelled across the fucking pharmacy, hey guy, do you have these in extra small? All these people were looking at me and I was like, meh, I don't give a shit. It's funny to me. Because I've endured so many elements of social pressure throughout my decades of doing this, that doesn't affect me. Just as I'm not affected right now talking to hundreds of thousands of men. I like the attention on me. I like that people listen to me. I like feeling that social pressure. I like going up to a hot girl and seeing her angelic eyes and perfect cheekbones and hot ass hair and perfect tits and thigh gap and tight ass and just be like, yeah, girl, let's see what you got. Let's see if you could put some pressure on me. You can't, because I've been doing this forever, but let's see if you can. And that's the same mentality I want you guys to have. So finally, let's get into some of the experiments. First of all, and I always recommend this to my boys, if you've been listening to my podcast for any amount of time, you should know this one. Laying down in a supermarket, a drugstore, Starbucks, Jamba Juice, McDonald's, wherever you're at, where there's a bunch of people, laying down on the floor for 2 minutes. I have my boys do this in the coaching program, and when they do it, what does it do? It puts embarrassment on them. It puts social pressure on them. They're freaking out, and then they do it, and we oftentimes record each other. Like you'll have a girl record you do it or whatever. People come up to you and say, hey, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just taking a break. Beat it. Kick rocks with your head down, you idiot. And you do the 2 minutes, and you realize, damn, dude, first of all, it wasn't nearly as hard as I made it out to be. Secondly, now I can endure social pressure. Now I realize that most people are fucking cowards who don't want to endure social pressure because they're weak, because they're scared. But once you do it, you kind of get a leg up on society. You're the one dude who's willing to do shit that nobody else is willing to do. Another example, whenever there's a long line, if you wait in the back of it, I have to question you, bro. I have to question your courage, because here's what you do. You go to the very front of the line, pretend you know somebody, and I do this all the time. It mortifies Marissa. She's like, I hate that you do this. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm not waiting in line. I don't do that as an unapologetic man. So I go to the front of the line. I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? And I pretend I know somebody. And if I have to walk through the turnstiles, I'm just like, hey, I'm just going to meet my buddy. He's at the front. I go to the very front of the line, and I see somebody who looks cool. And I say to him, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing today? Hey, listen. Got my family with me, got a 5-year-old daughter. There was no way she's gonna wait in this line. If I kicked you $20, would you let us wait with you, bro? I'd really appreciate that. And I kind of nod my head yes, and I ask him in a way that assumes the close, and they always say yes every single time. I've done it like 16 times over the last several years. Lines at the freaking speedway, lines at the motorcycle races, lines at the movies, wherever you're at, go to the front of the line, offer them $20. Don't waste your time when you have a freaking ripped social pressure muscle that you could go flex and cut in that line by kicking somebody $20. So I always go to the front of the line. I always get in. I fucking glad handle the dude. We become homies. And then I'm like, Marissa, let's go. And she comes up and she's like, I'm so sorry. And I always kind of laugh because she's apologetic. Meanwhile, I'm like, dude, I just saved us an hour in this effing line. Are you seriously apologizing for that? Come on. Flex those social pressure muscle, boys. Ask for things. Ask somebody to cut in line. Ask somebody for a rebate. How many of you guys done this? Go to Qdoba or McDonald's or whatever shitty ass place you're going to eat next and say, hey, could I get the marked discount? Now, what you do here is you use your own name. Say Brian, Adam, whatever your name is. Say, can I have the Brian discount? Kind of smile at her and wink. They'll oftentimes give you an employee discount. And it doesn't matter that you're saving a couple bucks at Qdoba. What matters is you had the balls to actually ask. You are enduring social pressure deliberately to build that muscle to make yourself more attractive to women. Other things you can do. Fart in public, bro. I double dog dare you. The next time you're at the grocery store to throw your leg up on the produce section and rip a fart. Now, a lot of you guys are like, oh, I'll never do that, bro. That's gross. That's so disrespectful. Hey, listen, if you're being hindered by your fear of disrespecting people or being socially unacceptable, I'm afraid I can't help you with that. But I'm going to recommend you this. You being hindered because of your fear, what other people think of you, is holding you back from all your dreams. Here's a secret. When you stop giving a shit what people think of you, success comes to you in ways I can't even explain. So yes, go into the grocery store, throw your leg up on your buddy's shoulder and rip a fart. Another thing I do in the grocery store is I'll get on my phone and I'll yell really loud, or I'll talk really loud. Hey mom, yeah, I just got back from the doctor. I have anal herpes. I didn't know that guy had herpes on his penis, but when he put it in, I was a little concerned. I got anal herpes. Mom, what am I going to do? Mom, what am I going to do? And just start crying really loudly. A lot of you guys would be mortified to do that. You never do it, but I'm recommending you actually do something like that because it's going to build that social pressure muscle. Now, a lot of you guys who have fear, start with something simple, whistling in a supermarket. Little bit socially unacceptable, but still okay. Maybe popping your teeth or smacking your lips. Maybe singing a song as you walk through the aisles. Maybe asking somebody from across the way, hey, where'd you get that thing? In a slightly socially unacceptable way. Asking somebody to cut in line. Negotiating, once again, where you shouldn't negotiate. You go to Walmart and the price is $10 and you go up to the checkout and you're like, hey, can I get this for $8? Of course she's going to say no, but that's not the point. The point is just enduring social pressure. What are you willing to do to embarrass yourself? Have you guys ever seen the video on Instagram? It was a couple of years ago where a dude's playing the saxophone and he gets up on top of the checkout line. He literally stands where they like check out food at the supermarket and he plays like Kenny G or some shit or some like super romantic, disgusting saxophone like do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And he's playing it and his shirt is off. That's social pressure. Check out this guy on YouTube. His name is Cassidy Campbell. He does this shit all the time. He pretends he's like a white gang member, and on the back it says white boy on his Oakland Athletics jersey, and he goes up talking like a black dude and just making an ass of himself. He has another character where he's like super gay, and he goes into Home Depot, and he's like, and he's like, excuse me, can you help me? And all these people are just like, dude, what the fuck is with this guy? Yeah, it's socially unacceptable. Yeah, you'd be mortified if you tried to do that yourself. But I want to ask you, bro, how much social pressure can you take? Can you embarrass yourself? Can you ask for discounts? Can you cut in line? Can you make your life better by refusing to do those socially expected things so that you can grease the slides of life? Here's something else I do. I don't know how much social pressure this is, but I just like to think outside the box. Take it if you want to, leave it if you don't, but I always do this. I go to the motocross races, which are literally right up the street from me in Morrison, Colorado. We drive up. I usually have my woman with me and my 5-year-old daughter. I don't want to wait in some long-ass line. I don't want to park in buttfuck Egypt and have to hike 2 miles with my 5-year-old daughter. So this is what I do. I go up to the first parking attendant and I say, hey, bro, I used to work here. Who manages this place now? And he's like, Mike. And I'm like, oh, Mike. What's his last name? Armstrong. It's a different dude. Anyway, man, I appreciate it. Then I drive up to the next guy and I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? What's your name? Matt. What's up, man? My name's Mark. Hey, is Mike Armstrong still the manager of this place? I worked here last summer. And he's like, yeah, he is. Hey, bro, me and Mike are tight. Would you mind if I just slipped into the VIP, dude? I know what it's like to work here. I used to work here myself. Would that be cool, bro? Do you mind, bro? And whenever I ask, I always kind of shake my head yes. Like, is that cool, bro? Can we do that? Please, man, can we go ahead and do that? They always say yes. So then I get VIP parking for free. I get right up next to the pits, and then I'm in with my family. Is it hurting anybody? No. Some of you guys are getting butthurt about this because you're extreme rule followers. But honestly, man, a guy who gets success in life, a guy who pulls girls, he's willing to color outside the lines a little bit. And that's what I'm urging you guys to do. So go out there and embarrass yourself. Put social pressure on yourself and realize it's not a big deal, dude. I double dog dare you, every single one of you motherfuckers listening, to go into CVS or Walgreens, pick up condoms, walk over to the dude, and at the top of your lungs be like, hey, bro, do you guys have these in extra small? Now, some of you guys will be like, yeah, maybe I'll do that, but I'll say, do you have them in extra large? Nah, dude. You got to embarrass yourself. Be like, hey, bro, I got a millimeter Peter. I got the angry inch. I got the 2-pump chump. Do you guys have these in extra small? Because these are just too big for my millimeter Peter. Meanwhile, everybody's listening to you, chuckling at you, just like they did when you were laying on the floor, and you realize that all of them are cowards. They would never do something like that. They can't endure social pressure. That's why many people don't get success in life. It's because they're coloring within the lines. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to embarrass themselves. And here's the amazing thing. When you embarrass yourself and you look around at everybody else, you realize, holy shit, that dude right there is embarrassed for me. What does that say about him? That says that his frame is so weak. He's so unable to endure social pressure that he's embarrassed about what you're doing. Talk about caring too much about what people think of you. That dude does. And if you talk to him, you're like, hey, bro, how many girls did you pull in your lifetime? And he's like, I had sex with like 4 girls. And I'm not saying having sex with girls is a benchmark of your worth as a man, but you will notice that people who are afraid to rock the boat are people who usually don't get success, both monetarily as well as with women. Again, you're notches on the bedpost. Do not tell me or yourself your worth as a man. In fact, I think it's kind of a low vibrating mentality to be in. Like, how many girls have you had sex with? But dude, if you want to be a girl magnet, if you want to be able to go up to a fucking 10 and open her as normally and comfortably as you're speaking to your best friend, you have to put yourself under social pressure. So go out there, stop coloring within the lines, be a rebel, and do some shit that's going to make you laugh. That's going to prove to you that everybody is stuck within the confines of their own fear of being embarrassed, and realize that you can do some shit that you don't even believe you can. You could go into a busy food center in a mall and do as my boy Lord Rage did. What's up, Nick? If you're listening, fucking champion. And sing at the top of his lungs that song, The Sound of Music. I don't know exactly how it goes, but this is what he did. He went to a busy mall, a cafeteria where everybody's eating, and he's like, the hills are alive with the sound of music at the top of his lungs. And after that, he's like, dude, I walked out with the biggest grin on my face. I was so high, and I immediately emailed Mark Singh because I wanted to tell him about it. And then in the coaching call, we all gave Nick a round of applause. That's a fucking champion right there. When you learn to endure social pressure, you will get girls unconsciously attracted to you. Why? Because you could just be normal around them. You could talk to them like you're talking to your best friend because you know how to endure social pressure. And again, boys, this is something you can do without actually having to open girls. You could just go out there and practice the shit and build the social pressure muscle. And my final tip, gentlemen, is an obvious one. The best way to build the social pressure muscle when it comes to attracting women is to go talk to women. The more women you talk to, the more that muscle gets developed, the less they affect you, and the more you could just be normal around them and banter as if you're bantering with your own best friend. That's the place we want to get to, and that's why I make my guys open 20 girls per week in my coaching program. It's all about quickly building that social pressure muscle so that the next 10 that walks around the corner, you're just like, hey, real quick, I want to talk to you about something. And you just talk to her completely normally, assuming familiarity, bantering with her, showing her you don't care, busting her chops a little bit, breaking rapport. You'd only do this if you could endure social pressure because you went to Walgreens and you're like, yo, I need the extra small condoms. Again, boys, that's your challenge. At the very least, go fart in public, go whistle in public, go sing in public, pick up an orange at the grocery store and at the top of your lungs be like, these oranges look delicious at the top of your lungs. Just do that kind of shit and realize it doesn't matter. And it makes you better with women in the process. What could be better than that? Gentlemen, I do appreciate you listening. As a reminder, I drop podcasts on Mondays and Thursdays, so please stay tuned for the next one, and I will see you in the next episode.